Ways to boost testosterone and other androgenic anabolic hormones have been the talk of the fitness community for some time now. However, often overlooked is the role of the androgen receptor. That is what is responsible for uptaking the testosterone and other androgenic hormones into the cells for various functions. And it turns out there are multiple techniques to help maximize androgen receptor density. Well, I researched, studied, and applied these techniques over the course of 1 month. So what did I do? What did I discover? Did I become an optimized super physiological testosterone uptaking muscle building beard growing machine? Let's find out. But you gotta focus. So I started by researching this entire topic quite a bit. And to start, I found some simple things I could do that may help increase my androgen receptors. First of all, to my pleasant surprise, caffeine intake. Several YouTube sources told me that caffeine intake could help increase androgen receptor density based on this one study. Caffeine increasing androgen receptors? Well, when I looked into this study a little further, it was on rats. Also, the results of this study suggest that chronic caffeine intake could lead to increases in androgen receptors, therefore increases in testosterone and DHT uptake, therefore the increased potential for a benign enlarged prostate. So you're telling me it works? That's all I needed to know. Upping the coffee. Okay, but for real, I know this is kind of a loose claim based on this one study, but already being a coffee drinker, I figured increasing my coffee 1/2 a cup per day hopefully wouldn't do any damage, but maybe lead to some of the wanted benefits of increasing androgen receptor sensitivity. Now, another thing that I was doing that I should mention regarding caffeine, and coffee actually, is applying a homemade topical coffee cream to mainly my midsection in the morning. And I do feel like I have been noticing some skin benefits to using this homemade product. But due to the possibility that caffeine may be absorbed through the skin and thus have an effect on the body, therefore possibly affecting the androgen receptors, I feel like I should disclose the use of this cream as well. Alright, the second thing I started to do that I was already doing here and there, consuming a type of food that was supposed to help increase androgen receptor sensitivity. That type of food? Spicy food. Anyways, I figured the spicier the better. To start, to make this easy to apply, I use this hot pepper sauce, and let me tell you, this sauce is hot. Like literally so hot, I would actually break a sweat during my meal. No joke. Now, something very basic and something I was already doing for quite a while now that can increase androgen receptor sensitivity and also the number of androgen receptors is weight training or other forms of resistance training. I thought I'd just point that out, so of course I decided to keep doing this. Now, I also tried to optimize other staples that have a positive effect on testosterone and androgen receptors, such as getting adequate sleep. Now, I've quite frequently in the past have been someone who has struggled with getting good sleep or going to bed in an efficient manner. However, I discovered some techniques recently that have helped me get better sleep. 1, staying off the phone at least 30 minutes before bed. 2, using my vagal nerve stimulator for about 1 to 2 minutes before bed. This can work differently for different people, but for me, I really found it helps get me in a rest and digest state. And then 3, more recently, taking a magnesium supplement before bed. A supplement that I found that I really like, that I'm also an affiliate with this company, is Snap Supplements Magnesium Complex. If you're interested in getting 20% off any Snap supplement, including this magnesium supplement, I'll leave my affiliate link in the description. Anyways, I found this little pre-bed protocol helped me go to sleep better and get better sleep overall, especially during this experiment with this increased caffeine intake. Now, for a specific supplement used in a study shown to potentially increase androgen receptors. L-carnitine tartrate. This is my first time taking this supplement. Serving size, 1,000 milligrams, approximately 2/5 of a teaspoon. But to play it safe, because I actually don't know how I'm going to react to this, I'm going to do a 1/2 a serving to start. So that should be 1/5 of a teaspoon. This is 1/2 of a teaspoon. So 1/2 of a teaspoon is 2.5 fifths. Approximately half of this 1/2 a teaspoon should be about a 1/2 of a serving of this. Oh, it stinks, man. It smells like fish. Interesting. Weird. It smells fishy, but it tastes kind of like sour-y. Yeah, really sour taste. Interesting. I can feel my androgen receptors increasing already. So yes, apparently a study found supplementing with L-carnitine L-tartrate upregulated androgen receptors when paired with exercise. And after taking a half a serving and not experiencing any negative effects, I decided to bump it to a full serving once a day for the first week. Alright, now here is an interesting combination. Apparently acute increases in cortisol can help increase androgen receptors. Now that's acute, not chronic. But also apparently the sensation of winning can help improve androgen receptors. So what might cause temporary stress but also give you the sensation of winning? I got it. Gaming! Yes! That's right, I started regularly playing video games, and about every day too when I started this experiment. Oh, come on, come on. Now when I had the option, I turned difficulty on easy to better give myself the chance of winning. But yeah, shout out to all you video gamers out there, you might just be enhancing your androgen receptors. Now another thing that I was already doing about 5 times a week for about 5 minutes a day, but I decided to step up to 10 minutes a day for 5 days a week, was photobiomodulation, or red light. The reason being, loosely based off this one study, activation of testosterone androgen receptors helped with cerebrovascular protection by photobiomodulation. Also, the second study, the effects of red light on a specific area, apparently elevated serum testosterone levels in rats. So of my 10-minute red light sessions, I spent the first 5 minutes focusing the red light on my upper body, and then the second 5 minutes focusing the red light on my lower body. Now I do want to point out both of these studies are on rats. However, for me personally, I've always felt good after doing a red light session. I've never noticed any negative side effects, so I figured it couldn't hurt, and maybe by stepping it up a little bit and getting some red light exposure to some certain regions, maybe I could experience some of these androgen receptor increasing, testosterone boosting benefits. So doing all these basics the first week, the one thing I did notice is I did feel like I had good energy levels, as well as I felt very clear-minded. However, this could have just been a coincidence, or it could have been due to just one of these factors like having good sleep, or maybe the carnitine L-tartrate was playing over into better energy levels, or a combination of multiple of these, something like that. But all I have to say is it felt like I was going in the right direction. So it was time to step it up. Now one thing before I step it up, a comparison I'm looking at week to week is my beard, or in this instance my 5 o'clock shadow, for facial hair is often associated with androgen receptors and testosterone levels, so I wanted to see at the 1 week mark of beard growth for each of these weeks, would there perhaps at any point be an observable change such as a thicker or denser looking beard as a result of me trying to increase my androgen receptors. I thought that would be interesting. So at the end of these first couple of weeks, before I cleanly shaved to set the beginning of the next week, I always took a visualization of my beard or 5 o'clock shadow. So how did I step up my quest for androgen receptors in week 2? Well, first of all, after experiencing a full week of taking carnitine L-tartrate and not having any negative effects, I decided to step up my dosage to 2 grams a day based off of the studies. I also decided to add branch chain amino acids to my intro workout. While the effectiveness of branch chain amino acids have been debated across the fitness community for many years now, looking at the literature specifically on leucine and its potential effect on muscle protein synthesis as well as maybe testosterone and therefore androgen receptors, I figured it couldn't hurt. So I took a bro scoop of Snap Supplements BCAA's intro workout. Now 2 things I have to point out, this formula also contains EAAs or essential amino acids, which might be a beneficial blend of ingredients to include in the formula, because I did find this one study actually looking at just BCAAs and how taking them alone may actually decrease muscle protein synthesis, so maybe the EAAs rounded it out. Also, this formula contains arginine, citrulline, and taurine, which can help with that nasty pump, but also arginine has been said to support cellular growth through GH and IGF-1 expressions. So this one's a little bit all over the map, and whether this affected androgen receptors or not, I threw this in for this experiment, and I do have to say I did feel a positive effect regarding energy, strength, and pump during my workouts. Anyways, I came across this one study, rapid increase in the number of androgen receptors following electrical stimulation of the rat muscle. Electrical stimulation? How could I get some electrical stimulation in my muscles? Well, I had a TENS unit from a previous experiment. So while I was playing video games, I started to do some TENS on some androgenic areas, such as the shoulders, to hopefully get an androgen receptor density response, thus getting that higher androgen receptor density look. I'm such a beast. Frick, bro. Now, throughout week 2, I do have to say I felt pretty darn good. Now, if you didn't figure this out already, something that can help increase androgen receptor density is more androgens, for it seems like they are positively correlated. For instance, when there is more testosterone, specifically free testosterone, to a certain extent, the body seems to produce more androgen receptors to handle that increase in testosterone. So things that typically increase testosterone may increase androgen receptors. Now, for the entire month of June, I decided to cycle off Tongkat Ali, a supplement that I suspected was helping me boost my natural testosterone production. However, at the very beginning of week 3 of this androgen receptor experiment was July 1st, so I decided to hop back on the Tongkat once again. You know what? No. Let's open a fresh one. Would I be boosting my testosterone and therefore boosting more androgen receptors? Potentially. Honestly, after taking a month off of Tongkat and then hopping back on it within the first couple of days, I could really feel a difference. So by week 3, my androgen receptor routine, ARR, wake up. If the sun was out, I would expose myself to about 5 minutes of that first sunrise sunlight. Oh, wait, that's something I didn't touch on yet. Yeah, doing this to hopefully set my circadian rhythm to better sleep at night. Then brew some coffee and take my first serving of carnitine L-tartrate as well as Tongkat Ali. After a few hours of working later, I would have my red light session. 5 minutes on the upper body, 5 minutes on the lower body. Now on any given day, if I wasn't able to get that first morning sunlight exposure, then I would have my red light session before starting work, because I found that it helps set my circadian rhythm similarly to that first morning sunlight. A little bit later, typically after a little bit more work, I would have my second serving of carnitine L-tartrate. This would be pre-workout. Then I would also blend up some BCAAs. Oh, in a glass bottle, by the way, because trying to avoid those microplastics, looking at some studies, microplastics might have a negative effect on testosterone, therefore androgen receptors. Now this microplastic topic is huge and deserves its own video. If you guys are interested, let me know. Wait a minute. Plot twist. This is coming out of a plastic container. In fact, all my supplements are out of a plastic container except for like 2 of them. Then typically 4 days a week, I would engage in some form of resistance training. Now I want to point out throughout this experiment, I was careful not to overdo the training because too much training can negatively affect testosterone and androgen receptor density. Now afterwards, with my post-workout meal and every meal thereon after, I would dose it up with some hot sauce. You know in the movies or whatever where there's that person who's like, this sauce will put some hair on your chest. Well, like, dang, seriously, this sauce felt like it was putting some hair on my chest. Yeah, spicy. Anyways, after my post-workout meal, I would typically play some kind of game. Welcome to Earth! Now while gaming, I would also do some TENS electrostimulation for about 20 minutes to my shoulders. Now if I wasn't working out this day, this would just be sometime in the afternoon. Later in the evening, I would typically have dinner, and then winding down before bed, I would throw on my blue light blocking glasses. Oh, that's something I didn't cover, helping to filter out that stimulating blue light to help myself further relax. I would then take some magnesium, and then another thing that I added in on week 3 is I would also take some zinc, because zinc is said to help support healthy testosterone levels, therefore hopefully healthy androgen receptor density. Going to sleep if needed, I would do about 1 to 2 minutes of vagal nerve stimulation, typically with coherent breathing. That's about 6 seconds of a breath in, 6 seconds of a breath out. This can help better induce that relaxation. Now mode 4 on my Vaporleaf Prime actually stimulates to that simple synchronization. So this is typically what I would use. Oh, and something else I forgot to mention, sleeping in only cotton sleepwear, and throughout the day I wore mostly cotton underwear. This is actually a huge topic, so let me know if you guys want a follow-up on this one. And let me tell you, while this kind of seems like a lot of things to keep track of and do, week 3 to week 4, I felt in a rhythm. Things were feeling good. Perhaps better than normal. Could all of this actually be working to induce some positive effects? Now, a strange effect I started to notice, if it's an effect at all, by weeks 3 and weeks 4, I was turning over to more simple, cheesy games rather than like complex new video games. Huge thank you to my Aunt Suzanne for getting me addicted to this game. I seem to like crave that simple puzzle game on the phone, or just something like super cheesy on the TV, like not even using the console, like a downloaded TV game. It was like this weird competitiveness, but specifically for those stupid games only. Yeah. Androgens. Now week 4 is an interesting one. This is where I did my best to implement what I'm going to refer to as the androgenic mindset. Throughout the day, and specifically anytime I had a moment of silence, or just a moment to focus perhaps, which I found the best time to actually be during my red light sessions, but also sometimes just randomly, I tried to almost like meditate or look within myself and tell myself that I needed to be more androgenic, as in I needed to have these stronger qualities, looping this into a positive feedback loop in my mind over and over, like I need these qualities, I have these qualities, I need them, I have them. Over and over was kind of almost like a hype up or like an energy increasing form of some kind of meditation. Now to amplify this physically, something I found to help kickstart this: a simple deep voice chant with light patting on the chest. This might sound completely strange, but I'm telling you, there was something here that just helped synchronize the body together to produce a more aggressive, grounded, androgenic-like physical and mental state. Hey, you don't believe me on this one? Well, this one's very easy to try. Alright, what is up guys? So it is mid-week 4 of trying to increase my androgen receptors experiment. All I have to say is, consistently I have been feeling very good. Good energy, good mood, and just more mentally clear, honestly. Now this could be due to a variety of different factors, maybe reintroducing the tonkat, maybe the carnitine L-tartrate, maybe I'm experiencing more benefits from a little more red light therapy, maybe on this certain region, maybe the magnesium, maybe this is all a placebo. But how I am feeling right now and for the past several days, good. And you would think getting somewhat addicted to playing these cheesy games that it would take away from my other things. But let me tell you right now, I feel like I've had better focus on work tasks day to day. And also, I think playing these games on my phone and on the TV have also taken me away from maybe watching some other things that may have put me in maybe a poorer mental state. And maybe all of these things are just playing over into increasing that aggression intensity, like positive feeling, maybe dopamine. I mean, when you think about it, dive into it deeper, am I just riding a wave? You know, I've increased my caffeine a half a cup a day. Could this all just one day just drop off and I just hit an all-time new low? There's always these possibilities, but as of right now, day to day, how I'm feeling, good. We're not done yet. I still have a few days left. I want to take a look at my beard. I know that's silly, but I do want to take a look at it week to week. See if there's any increases or decreases in density. See if there's no change at all. Maybe that has nothing to do with this. I'm just curious. Aren't you guys curious? Come on. You're weird, bro. I know. Sticking to the routine, finishing up this final week, feeling great. Let's now look at and discuss some potential results and discoveries. First of all, the 5 o'clock shadow comparisons, all taken at the same time of the week, 7 days of growth. The first comparison is before compared to the end of week 1, the end of week 2, the end of week 3, and the second comparison is just one over, the end of week 1 compared to the end of week 2, end of week 3, end of week 4. Now in my opinion, this grid comparison is a little hard to see if there's any differences, but if I just look at them one by one, in my opinion, the end of week 3 actually looks like I've made some thickness gains in my hair follicles or something like that. But then what happened at the end of week 4? Well, if you look back at week 3, you can kind of see my face is a little wet. Ew, I know, but it's okay. I was just sweating a little bit because at around the time at the end of week 3, when I was scheduled to take this after comparison, I was working on some physical labor in the garage. And well, it was hot and I started to sweat. And the reason I actually think my hair looks thicker and maybe more longer on week 3 is simply because of that water weight loss in my face from sweating, bringing my skin slightly tighter, pushing my hair follicles out slightly more. So rather than looking by week to week, let's just look at the before compared to the very end of week 4 or at the end of this experiment. In my opinion, it's hard to determine if there are any differences, but maybe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Now looking at the side-by-side upper body comparisons, I did come down a little bit in weight, but you gotta remember I have been on a slight lean out phase for the last couple of months. Now in my opinion, it looks like most of that weight loss has come from the core region, at least in these before and after photos, which is honestly very surprising for me to see. And maybe could it have something to do with all these hacks that I've been utilizing to potentially maximize my androgen receptors, to potentially therefore more optimize my hormone balance and perhaps fat loss phase? So I know in this video I kind of threw the kitchen sink at this entire idea, and I know some of these ideas might have got a little bit sidetracked. For based on my research, it ended up turning out that whatever can potentially increase natural testosterone production and free up testosterone may also increase androgen receptors, and then a lot of things that also can maximize health and athletic performance may also increase androgen receptors, and the wheel goes round. But throughout this experiment, trying all these techniques, I do feel like I don't want to sound cocky, but elevated. In fact, some of these things that I tried, I feel like there are potential video ideas and things to even explore further just on those topics, such as carnitine L-tartrate, magnesium, potentially the TENS unit making my shoulders feel better, aggressive gaming, sleep, different amino acids, and even diving deeper into this mindset, something I might actually be lacking. What I'm saying is often at times I feel like I just simplify things so much, and maybe perhaps there are just so many other possibilities and things to explore. I don't know, maybe I'm getting a little too ahead of myself. Let me know what you guys thought about this video. Did I forget anything? Is there anything else I should have thrown in here? I hope you all have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe, stay tuned, more videos coming out. Peace, I will see you all in the next video. Remember to focus though. Focus on the videos.